If you've seen our other videos on the Lectric XP 2.0s, you know all about these bikes by now. We've had these for 2.5 years and we love them. The XP Standard 2.0 and the XP Step Through 2.0 are excellent bikes, but this video is not about them. The reason I'm so excited to show you this video is because Lectric has two brand new e-bikes and we are the first ones that get to take out and test these prototypes. This is the XP LITE. It's small, stripped down, nimble, and inexpensive. And then over here is the XP Premium. It has all the bells and whistles, a lot more than what even the 2.0s don't have. It is like the Harley Davidson cruiser of e-bikes. Comfortable, big, beefy, decked out. These two bikes are both awesome in their own way, and I can't wait to show them to you. But in this video, we are gonna focus on the XP Premium. If you wanna learn about the XP LITE, go ahead and click on this card, or I'll also drop a link in the video description so you can learn about the XP LITE. But in this video, it's all about this big behemoth of an e-bike, decked out with all the bells and whistles. It's awesome, and I can't wait to show it to you. The owners of Lectric e-bikes, Levi and Robbie, invited us to their headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona to check out their brand new e-bike models. What we learned from our visit is that as the company has grown, Lectric has retained its extreme passion for making incredible e-bikes that their customers will enjoy. We saw where they assemble their e-bikes in-house to ensure they arrive ready to go right out of the box. We walked through their showroom where experts explain everything about their bikes to customers. They even let us take their new e-bikes on a spin on their new test ride track. The headquarters tour was great, but what we really came here for was to pick up these new models and test them out in the Arizona deserts where we're camped. The Lectric XPremium is the ultimate e-biking experience. With a mid-drive motor, the XPremium delivers power more intuitively to the rider, allowing the bike to tackle hills and take on tougher terrain. An all-new frame and battery design accommodates dual batteries, giving you double the range. Ride further and more comfortably than ever before on the XPremium. Lectric's goal with this bike was to create a vehicle replacement, an electric bike that was so comfortable, so decked out in all the bells and whistles, so responsive and just great to ride that you would want to take this to work instead of your car. And, you know, taking an electric bike to run errands or to go to and from work is a great way to save money on fuel and transportation costs in general. And I think they just nailed it with this bike. This is the ultimate e-bike in urban transportation. Sure, we're out here in the desert in some very rocky and rugged terrain, and this bike, I will say, was probably the worst of the three models that Lectric offers for this particular terrain, but we did get to ride this around on pavement back at Lectric's facility, and that's where it really shined. If you're unfamiliar about our YouTube channel, my wife Ro and I are full-time travelers and full-time RVers. We live in our travel trailer behind us and are constantly traveling the United States. And for 2.5 years now, we have had Lectric, their XP 2.0 model bikes. We have two of them. One is the standard and one is the step through model, which, you know, has this drop frame that allows you to swing your leg over a little easier. And we love those bikes. Ro and I have talked about, you know, now that Lectric has a smaller and a larger option between, or, you know, on either sides of the XP 2.0 now, would we rather have an XP Premium? And the answer is no, because for us, size, portability, and weight are extremely important for us. Since we're traveling, we need to have enough space in the back of our truck for everything we need. You know, we store a lot of stuff in the bed of our truck. We have a camper shell on top of it, and we keep both of our electric bikes back in there. And we know for certain that 2 of these premium models just wouldn't fit. This is an excellent bike and we do love it, but for us in particular, the XP 2.0 model fits our lifestyle a lot better. This model is like the Harley Davidson cruiser of e-bikes. It is big, beefy, kind of cumbersome to ride, especially, you know, on this off-road terrain. You know, you wouldn't take a Harley Davidson cruiser on something like this, but it's got all the creature comforts, all the bells and whistles. You know, the XP LITE is sort of like a dirt bike version of the XP, and then the XP 2.0 is somewhere in between the LITE and the Premium. But riding this bike was very comfortable. You know, you've got the longer, larger frame for just a more comfortable seating position. You have the upgraded leather handle grips, which feel very nice. You have the upgraded suspension with longer suspension travel, and so when you go over a rock with this thing or a bump, you barely even feel it up front. And the seat would have been more comfortable if it had the suspension seat post upgrade that Lectric offers. And if you're gonna get this bike, I highly suggest getting that suspension seat post. And then you've also got, which is the biggest upgrade in my opinion from the 2.0, is the mid-drive motor. On the XP LITE and the XP 2.0, the motor is on the rear hub. But with a mid-drive, the bike responds to the way you pedal much better. If you're barely pedaling, then the motor gives just a little bit. Once you start to apply more pressure, then the motor instantly provides more torque. And you really feel that as you start to push harder and then soft and then harder again, the bike responds almost instantly. Whereas with the LITE and the 2.0, there is a slight delay in how quickly the motor engages, as well as on those 2 bikes, the motor just sort of goes. There is a little bit of adjustment in, you know, that you have with the pedal assist, and it does ramp a little bit, but it's not really based off of how hard you're pedaling. And so when you're riding this bike, the Premium, the bike really feels more of an extension of you. It responds exactly how you're riding it. Whereas the other bikes, they sort of drive you. Whereas this bike, you really feel like you're the one propelling it, even with pedal assist provided by the electric motor. And then another big upgrade on this is that it actually has hydraulic disc brakes on a bike, whereas the 2.0 and the LITE, they do have disc brakes, but they're not hydraulic. They're just purely mechanical. And I believe Lectric put hydraulic brakes on this just because it's so much heavier than the other 2. They wanted to provide you with extra stopping power. And then of course, this bike does have a spot up front to mount a basket to the front, as well as a basket to the back, so that you have plenty of room to put in groceries or, you know, whatever you need to take with you on your commuting trips. The downsides to this bike do really make sense. You know, it is big, it's heavy, and therefore it's less portable. It does fold up, but the footprint that it takes up when folded up is not nearly as small as the XP 2.0, which is the mid model between this and the LITE. And then, of course, it's way bigger than the XP LITE. And so if portability, size, and weight are big considerations for you, then you might want to stay away from this bike and go with one of the smaller options. Cost, of course, is another big factor with this e-bike. You know, it has all of these awesome upgrades to it, and every one of those is going to add a little more cost. And so this bike is by far the most expensive out of the 3 model options. And then of course, because it is so big and bulky and heavy, again, riding it out on terrain like this, really rough terrain, really isn't the best place. It's not where this bike shines the most. I will say that you feel the bumps the least on this bike when we would ride over rocks, because it has such large front tires and it has such great suspension travel here up front. You don't feel the bumps as much as the other two models, but the large front and rear tires don't provide, it makes the bike not very agile, you know? So flicking this bike around, going around the large bumps if you don't want to just go right over them is a little tougher on this bike. It's just not very nimble, especially at the higher speeds. However, if you've got the money and you've got the space that you need to store a bike like this, then, you know, if comfort, if all of the awesome features, if the excellently responsive and extremely powerful motor, I don't think I've touched on that yet either. This motor is so much more powerful than the motor that they placed on the LITE and the XP 2.0 that Lectric actually had to upgrade the rear sprockets on this. It was putting out so much torque that when you were up in the higher gears, it was just shredding the rear sprocket. And so they had to upgrade the rear sprocket as well. And so yes, this motor is extremely powerful. Its top speed is the same as the other two bikes, which is 28 miles per hour. But that's just because Lectric has to limit that for it still to be considered an electric bicycle. But if you're going to be using this as an urban transport bike, if you're going to be staying on pavement and you just want the best electric bike out there, then this is it right here. There are a lot of other premium electric bikes out there, but they just do not have this complete package. They're lacking something. Whereas Lectric just put it all on this beast. I'll say it again, Lectric nailed what they were trying to accomplish with this bike. A vehicle replacement for urban transportation. Lectric XP Premium. There are a lot of options and packages that you can get with this bike as well. And so if you want to see those, as well as check out everything that Lectric has to offer with their other models as well, the XP 2.0, which is the mid-range model, and then the XP LITE, which is the smaller stripped down version, go ahead and check out their website. I'll drop a link in the video description below. If you go through that link, it does help us out too. So if you like this video, then please go through that link, and it lets them know that you came from us. I'll also drop a card right there. You can click that if you want to learn everything there is about the Lectric XP LITE. We made a whole separate video on that bike as well. I'll also drop links in the video description below to the XP LITE and our videos on the Lectric XP 2.0, which we haven't covered in these videos, but we have many previous videos on those. You know, we just wanted to cover the LITE and the Premium because these are prototypes, these are brand new. But if you want to learn more about the mid-range model, the XP 2.0, which is what Ro and I have, and the bike that we love and we think fits our way of traveling the most, go ahead and check those videos out on the Lectric XP 2.0 as well. But that's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Should know I'm just a stone's throw away. A mile down the road in a phone booth I wait. And when all you go, I hope I hear you say you'll be sure to bring the cure and I'll